Hello, welcome to our Journey Through the Chakras YouTube series. My name is Lisa Ware and I've been your host for the last 4 weeks. This is our 5th week and we are talking about the Throat Chakra, Vishuddha. And so we're working with the color blue. So if you have something blue, you can wear that, get some blue crystals. You might need some yoga blocks. If you have them, you want to grab 2. You might need a blanket to sit on, especially if you are kind of a member of that tight hamstring club. And you might also grab a bolster. So those are things you can use as things as tools for this, things for this practice. But also, we're working with crystals that have to do with the throat chakra. So if you have any favorite crystals that you already have been using, you might place them at the top of your mat. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, I forgot to mention to you too that if you want to download the handouts, it's on our blog. So we have free handouts for every chakra so far. This one we're going to have up by next week, and it's yogaforlove.com/blog. Okay, well, welcome. Hi, everybody. So today we're working with our throat chakra. Let me turn this down just a little bit. So has anybody done any work with the throat chakra? Oh, okay, well, great. No. All right, so this is going to be super fun. And throat chakra is, as some of us have been studying the directions of energy. And so the directions of energy in the throat chakra is Vinyasa. So Vinyasa is upward and outward flowing. If you can think about like if you looked at a little cartoon of some music notes and how they always draw them like this, and going up in the air, that's the energy of Vinyasa. And that works with the throat. So it's outward and upward moving. So your throat is very important for communication, as well as opening your throat for music, for sound, of course for breath, for proper breath. So there's lots and lots of issues and reasons that we can counterbalance and we can balance. So we today have a bunch of different crystals. We'll talk about these here in a second. That we're using. And this is chakra number 5, the symbol here. And so you've got the multi-petals. You can look here on this poster as well, and they are depicted a little bit differently. So the throat chakra here, Vishuddha, it means purified or to purify, and or purification. The purpose is communication and clarity and clarification. And so you can see that they're totally different. I'm going to show the camera here what this one looks like. So each artist is going to depict it a little bit differently, but you can see it here again. It has a downward facing triangle in it. And so we've been talking a little bit about that. Now in this particular, the Sanskrit version does not. So in your downward facing triangle, you have from your root, you have your upward facing triangle in the Manipura, and then again the downward facing triangle in the Ajna chakra. So you can see how the different symbols are a little bit different. This one's more of an artistic depiction. So the qualities on your throat chakra would be, of course, the element of sound. The endocrine gland that's affected is your thyroid. And the color is bright blue. So any shade of blue, you can see I have a blue top on here today with a little Om sign. My mat's blue. I love to teach using turquoise. I do a lot of turquoise when I teach because it's really empowering for speaking. Public speaking, it's great to wear turquoise as well, especially around your neck. Sense is hearing, so hearing in the form of listening. So not just hearing, but being a really, really good listener helps to really empower your own and the other person's throat chakra. The color, any shade of blue. So these crystals here we're going to talk about are all different shades of blue. Blue is not a super common color in the crystal world, so it's a little bit more rare. And the seed sound is hum. So we've been doing our chant, every week we've been using that Bij mantra sound. So this is hum, this chant. And the highest sound of the higher throat chakra is E. So it's a very high E. The identity is our creative center, bringing in ideas from our mind, thinking about them, speaking them into existence. The orientation is self-expression. And the demon of this chakra is lies. The right is the right to speak and to be heard. And then the developmental stage, we were talking about each of the chakras. So as you develop as a baby into tween and teenhood and into adulthood, you move the energy through the chakras as you develop. And this developmental stage is ages 7 to 12. So as you kind of move up, but also if you're thinking about like as your patterns repeat and you move up the chakra system, so if you had 7 years for every chakra, then we'd have 5 times 7. So we would be in the 30s, 40s, you know, as you move into the throat chakra. So it repeats again in your lifetime. So if you're thinking about it in numbers and years. And then again, when you're in geriatric stage. So, you know, in your 70s, again, you're moving back into the throat chakra, and then late 70s into the third eye, and then 80s into the crown chakra. So it makes sense why, you know, as you develop in certain areas of your life, and especially, you know, like midlife, you're right in the middle of that throat chakra, you're wanting your expression, you're entering your 40s, and you're like, what do I want to do with my life, you know? Everything I created until now, what happens, you know? And so then you're moving into that stage of bringing something bigger. And a lot of the, you know, you've heard the term the midlife crisis. And so that's part of being clear and clarified in where you're standing in the world. And that's, again, the right to speak and the right to be heard. The cosmic principle here is resonance. Of course, sound is all vibration. And so we're going to talk about some of these crystals. This one is just inside of a geode that's actually been stained, but I love it because it's in the shape of South Carolina, which my son is there right now in the Navy, and that's the symbol of South Carolina, which has nothing to do with the throat chakra. That's just a complete total side note. But the Navy is blue and the ocean is blue, so we can tie that in, right? Yes. So, and if you want to show the camera, that'd be good. Then you can pass it around.
Unless you wanted to, you can too.
Thank you, Bree.
You're welcome.
And then if you'll be the passer, if you don't mind, and then Rachel, you can bring it back. Okay, that'll work. So then we'll just put them in here, and we have all of our chakras as we've been collecting all the stones. So if you've missed any of the classes, you can look at the different stones. I have them sitting on the little part of the kit, and that's part of the chakra balancing kit, which I love for this series. This is a great book by Andrea Judith. So this is the chakra balancing. She has in there lots of information, which I'm going to speak to you about after we discuss the crystals. I'm going to give you a quick summary of that, and then if you want more detail, order that book. We're going to talk on excerpts of a few different books that I've conglomerated for the chakras. So the other one is, this is a really old book, super old. This is The Chakras by C.W. Leadbeater, and there is actually a photo. I'm going to show the camera and I'll pass it around so y'all can see it. Oh, it's super old, y'all. So this is the throat chakra, and then right next to it is the heart chakra from last week. And that's actually a photo. Isn't that super cool? I love that. So each of them has a picture in there. So you can see actually a photo. Isn't that neat? Thank you. You have to figure out where those go.
Oh, well, they're 11 through 6.
Okay. Oh, yeah, they're numbered. That makes sense. Okay. The chakra meditation book is really good. This one, I love the artwork. And we're going to be talking about, of course, the throat chakra. There's 2 different artistic depictions in each chapter in this one. This is Swami Saradananda. These are, again, on our handouts on our blog, so you don't have to write all this down. But this is just a picture of the throat chakra. It has the downward facing triangle, the moon. It has all the petals. So we have in here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you can see each time we're moving up and gaining more and more petals as you move into the infinite expansion of the crown. And this one has like the elephant down here. It has the lotus, so the bumblebee. So these are just different elements of the throat that we're going to be talking about. But the actual yantra is on the page with actually just the symbol itself. So it has the symbol, it has the downward facing triangle, the elephant, and then the petals. And then in the Sanskrit alphabet, around each of the chakra symbols are the Sanskrit letters. And so you can see that, and on this one too. So the actual Sanskrit alphabet moves around this way. And so that, I think, is pretty cool too. Everything is like perfectly accurate. So as you study that more and more, you're gonna be so amazed how everything fits so intricately you're like, okay, you can't just make that stuff up. You know, it just, everything fits so perfect. So I love that. And we're going to talk a little bit about just some basics here, but let's go ahead and pass around these crystals. So we have Aquamarine. You can show the camera this time since you're going to be going away. You just want to hold it up for the camera real quick. And then we have here, this is a cornelian. No, wait, no, that's a citrine. Sorry.
I love that.
It feels really waxy.
Yeah.
This one is a piece of a geode. It actually has purple on the outside and green and blue on the inside, and it's actually been made into a piece of jewelry. So this one's peacock ore.
Ooh.
So they're not in order for the camera. But so we have turquoise. We have 3 different pieces of turquoise here.
It's the peacock
one.
It's purple.
You want to grab this one?
And blue.
Thank you. So these are different. One's shaped like a little bear. So it's really fun. Turquoise can be cut into all kinds of shapes. We have lapis lazuli. Lazuli. Here.
I'll do it the same way we were doing the last one.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay.
Keep it going. And I'm going to read to you a few more. I think, and we have one more, which is sodalite. And then I'm going to tell you a few more that you can look up. So of course, sapphire, which is a semi-precious. Fluorite was the one that I passed around. It wasn't citrine, it was blue fluorite. Fluorite comes in different colors. And also labradorite, and labradorite is it's almost opal, but it's black. So it's like opalescent, but it's black. It's very pretty. And so those are all for the throat because they all reflect the green and the blue and the elements. Now anything that, and here's one more. Sorry, I thought you were done. Blue kyanite. So kyanite is super powerful. This is a really nice piece. This is one of those pieces that, well, one of those, you don't know about this, but sometimes things just appear in my world, and I don't, like, how did that even get there? I don't know. So that was one of those pieces that just appeared. Isn't it gorgeous?
It is.
And it has a really neat feeling. It's striated, so it's tightly woven, like
It feels kind of like a creek bed, but it's still tight, but then it kind of feels like that blue rock.
Yeah.
The first blue rock. All of them are blue. The first blue rock.
Yeah, so I love how it feels. This one doesn't fall apart. So some of them that are striated, like the selenite, is easily separated by water and things like that, or dropping it. Selenite will amplify any of the other crystals. So if you want to take this one and pass it around. And selenite comes in little wands, which are also super awesome. They can't be cut into many shapes because they are so fibrous. And so they'll break real easy. So those, and then coral comes in lots of different colors. You can find coral that's safely been harvested. And so this is a piece of coral. It's way lighter than it looks, isn't it?
It's like a dinosaur.
Yeah, I know, I love it. That one's one of my favorite. And it smells like the ocean. So any of those would be great to work with. So let's speak a little bit about the Vishuddha Chakra. So the throat chakra is the bridge between the heart and your mind. The creative impulse may come to mind, thank you, in which you can only manifest in the world when you express it as a speech using the Vishuddha energy. If this bridge of communication is blocked, impulses are choked. So literally choked, get stuck in your throat. And then the idea is the hopes and the dreams that are unable to travel down the chakra system and be taken to the heart, and they remain unrealized. So it's a very important gateway. It's like what we call the bottleneck of the chakra system, because things do get caught here and not manifested or not expressed. So as we move up the chakra system, since we started at the root, then we moved to the sacral, then the solar plexus, and then the last part 4 was the heart. So we're moving up, and we reach the last one to have a physical element associated with it. Will you turn that down just a touch, please? Yep. So the last element that has the physical, you have 4 major elements and then ether or space. So all of the elements begin to, of course, be identified, and it stops here. So as you get into the head and the crown, there's no elements associated. So we've got the last one, which was Akasha. And Akasha literally means like the cosmic sky. So the atmosphere continues to extend all the way out into the universe. And as we move through the throat chakra, that's how we're moving into the Akasha realm. So it literally means ether. And it's symbolized by the color blue. This element is matter in its purest, most subtle form, and it pervades not just this chakra, but all the chakras that we've looked at so far. So, of course, the Anahata chakra contains ether as well as air. The Manipura chakra possesses ether in addition to fire. The Spiri Starting chakra contains fire, air, and ether as well. And then the Muladhara chakra contains earth, fire, water, air, and ether. So you can see as matter gets denser, it composes all of the elements are composed in the earth. So it lightens up, and that's how in the cosmos things are manifest. It's manifests first by very, very, very subtle gases and things like that begin to attract to each other, and then they begin to get denser, and then they attract heavier things, which are still atomic, and they begin to get denser and denser and form into stars and planets and universes and people. And so that's science. So the chakra system is really based in science, even though there's a lot of philosophy attached to it, which was really fun to study. But I'd like you to also, work on looking up some of the physics of the chakra system too. And that's something that's really great, because a lot of people that think this work is woo-woo, it's really based in how the universe is formed. Because everything is energy. We are all energy. Everything is frequency. And everything has its own frequency signature. And so as we begin to get denser and denser and denser, things become more real in this world. But it doesn't mean it's any less real than something that has less mass, right? So even thoughts can be calculated with some sort of frequency, which means they have some type of density. And then you bring it in, and then of course music has frequency. It is frequency, sound and voice. And that's how we begin to bring things into this earth realm where we can hear it, feel it, see it, touch it, taste it, and actually, then it's real. But things that exist from the 5th chakra up may not seem as real to people who've never explored the physics of it or done this kind of work. So that might help you when you have that, you need to explain that. So the beliefs, the creativity, the emotional needs are open and well balanced in a well balanced throat chakra. Your mouth, your tongue, your throat, your ears, your eyes, and your hands are all associated with the throat chakra. The Vishuddha chakra is ruled by the planet Jupiter, and that is the teacher planet in the Indian tradition. And so tuning into our throat chakra, you can again do that yantra gazing that we had talked about before, where you set the picture of the throat chakra in front of you about 12 inches eye level, gazing at it and just checking it out and just imprinting it in your inner gaze, and then closing your eyes and then just meditating on the ether and on the throat chakra until the image disappears, and then just do that consistently off and on for like 5 to 10 minutes or longer. So that's a nice meditation to do. And we're going to do an ether meditation at the end here, meditating on the Vishuddha chakra in the form of the sky. So that's going to be at the end of our class. So I'd like to move into just a little bit more detail about what the throat chakra is, and then we're going to get into a practice for the throat chakra. So there is a really great book that I haven't yet introduced, and this one is The Anatomy of the Spirit. So this one is by PhD Carolyn Myss. She is really well acclaimed in the science as well as mystical world for all of her work and combining it together. This book is incredibly comprehensive. For those of you that have ever had any kind of qualms about yoga and religions, she is able to tie the chakra system with the Kabbalah and the Indian belief systems and the Christianity belief systems and bring them all together with fact on how they all have the same energies. It's very, very awesome. I love this book. I don't know why I didn't remember it earlier, but I saw it on my shelf this week, and so I started reading about the throat chakra. And so, of course, it lies between the head and the heart. So throat is super, super important. And it's really about the essence of faith. And so I've always done this journey through the chakra system between Lent and Easter on the Christian calendar, because the energy is about transformation in that doctrine. And it's really a beautiful time to set a sadhana, 40 days of intention, whatever that is, about transforming and letting go. And so faith is a result of our energy commitments. We, in our minds, hearts, and lives, become woven into their consequences. Our faith and our power of choice are, in fact, the power of creation itself. We are the vessels through which energy becomes matter in this life. So think about that for a second. That's crazy. We're the vessels. Like, we literally are we're containing the energy. Our body is mass holding energy. It's really strange to think about it that way. But it is. It's to be completely simplified down. Remember that your physical life and your spiritual path are one and the same. Taking pleasure in your physical life is as much a spiritual goal as achieving a healthy physical body. Both are the consequences of following divine guidance in making choices of how to live, of acting out our faith and trust. Surrendering to divine authority means liberation from physical illusions, not from the delights and comforts of physical life. The spiritual energies of the fifth chakra guide us toward that point of surrender. So with that said, it's really a very intense energy. And that's, we can see why we get stuck there. There's a lot going on. Before you kind of tap into the spiritual realm, a lot of people always think that the throat chakra is simply about communicating and expressing, which it is. But if you think about the higher purpose of faith, then you can kind of keep a different perspective on the practice. So I just wanted to offer you that perspective today. And so the expressing is the kind of overall theme of this chakra. And so when we let our breath out, just take a big breath in, and then and just letting our breath out and expressing our voice through our breath with a sigh. And when we exhale, we can make a lot of different noises, and it can be squealing, it can be crying, it can be excitement, it can be relief, so just by expressing through the sound of our voice and our breath means a lot. The essence of communication, sound, vibration, rhythm, music, voice, words. So these are all aspects of the fifth chakra. Vishuddha means purification. So the release of sound purifies and orders the energy for the body to enter into higher consciousness. It refines the body's raw energy for the focus of consciousness. It filters the messages for the body, filtered into the images coming into your mind, and then into words. Going deeper into the core, integrating body and mind into a single but vibrating truth. So lastly, I'm just going to read this section, and then we're going to get started with a Sun Salutation for our throat chakra. The opening of the voice, speaking your truth, and freeing your creativity is where you take the will from the third chakra, add it to the breath in the fourth chakra, and then energize the ideas coming down from the mind to express ourselves into the world. So it's through connection, expansion, and uniting with others, creating our world as we go. Isn't that beautiful? So we're going to go ahead and begin on our mat. So go ahead and find your comfortable space on your mat. Grab your props and bring them next to you, so you'll have them handy. Again, you might need your blocks, and needing is not really the right word. You might utilize your blocks, and blocks are really awesome tools. They're not a crutch whatsoever. Oh, we forgot to talk about the foods. This is super fast. But the foods for your heart chakra, there's not a lot of things that are blue, other than like blueberries and blackberries and things like that. But so liquids actually play a very large role in feeding your throat chakra. So the affirmation is I speak, and healing the throat chakra, of course, lubricating qualities, soups, warm teas, lots of pure water, fruit juices, different kinds of herbal teas. Avoiding dairy is highly recommended as it can congest your mucous membranes and coat the throat and clog the sinuses. Anybody who's ever sang knows that you don't eat dairy right before you sing, right? Blue foods, blue is a color rarely found. Black grapes, blueberries, elderberries. What?
Bilberries.
Oh, bilberries. Yeah, and those are hard to find. Currants, but we can't really find a lot of those in our regular grocery. Blended berries into a smoothie with hydrating coconut water make a very healing throat chakra tonic. Very simple, simple. Tree-growing fruits, apples, pears, plums, peaches, apricots, mangoes, oranges, and plums. So why would a tree-growing fruit be part of the throat chakra?
Juicy.
It's juicy? Oh, that's a good one. What else? It's off the ground, right? So it's not rooted. It's up in the air, so it's up towards the heart and the
it's
throat.
like a throat.
Yeah,
It's like a
so
throat to the ground.
it's up there, yeah. So kind of representation of where it sits on the tree or on the plant also kind of helps to notice what chakra, because of course like a beet would nurture the root, you know. Also tart or tangy fruits, lemons, limes, grapes, kiwis, Meyer lemons. And when you're thinking about maximum amount of phytonutrients are all the nutrients that come from the plants. And they only come from the plants, and they are very, very essential. So you want to look for fruits that are totally ripe and maybe even have fallen off the tree just recently. So we're going to go ahead and begin. Let's go ahead and start in child's pose. I'm going to turn on some music here a little bit. Take a moment to maybe place your stones at the front of your mat, get a drink. Hydrate your throat. Just breathing in and out. Just add a little bit of movement to your child's pose. Let your head relax. Let your neck and your shoulders relax. And just breathe here. In and out through the nose. Switch up your arms in your position here. Maybe take your arms behind you, or you can take your hands into prayer. And then bring your hands to the back of your heart center, bending at the elbows. You can even take reverse namaste here, the back of your heart center, placing your palms together, fingertips together. Just opening the chest, opening the heart. Take a couple breaths using our sound. So we're going to inhale and exhale, sigh. Breathe in. Good. Two more. Last one here. Good. And just resting in child's pose. Let's begin to activate our child's pose. So we're going to bring our knees closer underneath us and reach forward. Press back into our heels, and again, come back into your child's pose. If your head is way off the mat, you can take your two fists here and just stack them one on top of the other and make a little space for your head. Relaxing here. Just breathe in and out through the nose. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Couple more breaths here in your active child's pose. Make sure that your toes are tucked under so that the ball of your foot is pushing into the ground. There you go. Yep. And then we're going to inhale, lift our hips up into downward facing dog. And then exhale here and just pedal out the legs. Shake out your head. Relax the neck and the shoulders. Just alternate rocking the hips from side to side. Press the chest back and up and lift onto the tippy toes. And then exhale, lower and soften your knees. Inhale, press back and up, lift onto your tippy toes. Stay out of your shoulder so we're not rocking the shoulders. And then soften the knee and lower. We'll do that one more time. Lifting and lowering. And let's walk hands and feet together, coming into your forward fold. Go ahead and grab your opposite elbows. And just gently rock side to side. And just breathe here. Swaying back and forth, letting the head relax. Maybe come up to the top of your mat. Or just find ragdoll with the backs of your hands. Touch the ground. Relax the head, the neck, the shoulders, rolling the head from side to side. Bend the knees, let's roll up, touching the shins. Coming all the way up. Reach the sky, big breath in. Exhale, hands come to our heart. Let's bring our feet together. Coming into starting posture. Bring your hands to your heart center, gaze forward, and find your focal point about eye level. We're going to interlock the fingers like this, and we're going to inhale, push our hands forward, and lift up into a back bend. Exhale, coming back, reaching forward. Inhale, coming back and up. And exhale, forward. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reaching back and up. Keep your knees soft. Push your tailbone down. Exhale, back. Let's find mountain pose, releasing the fingers down by the sides. Bring your feet to about shoulder width. And we're just going to bring our hands nice and wide. Spread out the toes. Inhale, reaching up. Interlock the fingers, big breath in. And then exhale, taking the hands down all the way, fold in half. Just hinge at your hips, keep your body straight. And then let your head drop and come into ragdoll. And just gently rock here, a couple breaths. Letting yourself just fold and relax. We're going to touch the ground. We're going to inhale and look forward into monkey pose. Drop your hips. Breathe here. Exhale, step our left foot back and find your lunge. Go ahead and drop your knee. Touch the toe back. Take our hands to the shin and come up. Big breath in. Inhale, back bend, open the throat. Exhale, coming down. Step back into all fours. Stack your hands beneath your shoulders, knees beneath your hips. Inhale into cow. Lift the heart, lift the tail, look up. Exhale into cat. Drop the head, tuck the tail, look under. Inhaling into cow. Scoop the shoulders down the body. Exhale into cat. Round it out. Squeeze the breath out. We'll do one more cycle here. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. And coming into center. We're going to inhale, step the left foot forward. Slide the right knee back. Take your hands to your front of your thigh and come into your back bend, reaching up. Let your hips drop. Make sure your heel stays right underneath your knee so you're not coming into a deep knee bend. So make sure your stance is wide enough so when you do take your back bend, your knee is still underneath, your heel is there to support you. And coming back down, step back, all fours. Inhale here, cow. Exhale into cat, just lining up hands and shoulders, knees and hips. Couple breaths. And exhale everything out. Tuck your toes under. We're going to reach forward into active child's pose. Take about 3 to 5 breaths here. In and out through the nose. And inhale your way into downward facing dog. Lift your hips to the sky. Onto your tippy toes. Exhale, walk hands and feet together. Coming to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in half. On your inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. Interlock your fingers. Push your palms to the sky. Keep your knees soft. Big breath in. Exhale. Just holding here for a couple breaths in. And out. Inhale, take your back bend, reaching up. Exhale, all the way out. Fold in half. And when you get halfway down, just drop your hands out. Find your ragdoll and just gently relax side to side. Head, neck, and shoulders soft. Touch the ground. Inhale, looking forward into monkey pose. Exhale, stepping right foot back. Drop your knee. We're going to take both hands to the thigh. And then inhale, reach up with the heart and the throat. Hold here. Coming into Anjaneyasana. Again, make sure when we're dropping lower, we're sliding our knee back instead of pushing our front knee forward. So you're bringing that neck back, knee back maybe just a touch more. And let's drop our hands down. Back to our cat and cow breath, 3 cycles. All fours. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. And 2 more. Using your Ujjayi breath, awesome. Last one here. Exhale it out. And back to our center. Stepping left foot forward. Sliding right knee back. Both hands come to our thigh. And breathe up. Make sure you're on the other side. And then coming down, back to our cat and cow breath. This time just begin to rock the hips and shoulders side to side. Coming into a neutral spine, all fours. Breathe here. Tuck the toes under. Reach forward and then press back into the heels, coming into your child's pose. Let your head relax. 3 full deep breaths here. Let's take 1 ha breath on that last breath. Inhale. And inhale your way into downward facing dog. And just pedal your legs. Walk it out, and then let's walk hands and feet together. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in half. Bend your knees, reverse swan dive all the way up. Big breath in. And exhale, mountain pose. Spin our feet about shoulder width again. Spread out the fingers. Find your focal point. Interlock the fingers. Inhale and reach up. Take a nice, strong stance here. Push your tailbone down. So notice when you reach up, does your tailbone kick out and you begin to lose energy there. So you want to stay in a nice firm position here. And then if you'd like to, soften the knees a bit. Push the tailbone slightly down and take your back bend. Big breath. Exhale into your forward bend. And you get halfway, just drop your hands out. Inhale, halfway lift, and then we'll exhale with a sigh. And just find your ragdoll. Shake it out. Relax. Make sure the backs of your hands are touching the ground. If your hands are far from the ground, go ahead and just grab opposite elbows. Let the weight of your arms traction your back. And let the head relax all the way. Good. Breathing here. A few more cycles of breath in your forward fold. In and out through the nose. Let's touch the ground. Sinking the hips down. Look forward into monkey pose. Exhale, stepping right knee back. Drop down. This time when we come into our option to come into our lunge on the knee, we'll have an option to take the hands off and to come into a full back bend. So you can take one hand off, so you're going to keep your right hand on your left knee, and then take your left hand up and back, and breathe here. You can take a mudra here, index finger to thumb, that symbol of wisdom. If you feel really stable there, you can take, again, your mudra by interlocking the fingers, up and back. Breathe here. And then coming back to the knee. Exhale to all fours. 3 breaths in cat and cow. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling into couch. 2 more here. Breathing into cow. Exhale into neutral spine. And let's step our other foot forward. Sliding that left knee back this time. Take both hands to the right thigh. Come up. You can keep your toe tucked. If you're modifying here, this is where you use your blocks. And so you can just use your blocks here. Stay there. Try that. See how that feels. And come up a little higher if you'd like. If you want to keep opening up into your back bend, right hand comes up. And use your mudra. Option to take, interlock the fingers, reach up and drop back. Bring it down to the knee. You can come back to your blocks if you're using blocks. Step back. We're going to move our blocks out if you're using them. We're going to come into cat and cow for just a couple breath cycles on your own. Exhale into cat. Inhale, reach forward. Tuck your toes under. And we're going to exhale back into our child's pose. Let yourself relax and rest your head. Make sure your head is resting on something. So if your head is hovering, you can take a block there, or a blanket, or a pillow. And then we're going to inhale, press our chest toward our thighs, and pull the tailbone up to the sky. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pedal your legs out. And then let's walk hands and feet together. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold in half. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Big breath in. Interlock the fingers, press up. Feet a little bit wide, so just right below your hips. So you have a firm base. Holding here. Again, imagine you're channeling all this beautiful pranic energy from the very center of your palm, between your middle fingertips, down to the crown of your head, through the third eye, through the soft palate of the mouth, down through the middle of the throat, about 3 inches in front of your spinal cord, through the high heart, down into the heart center, through the solar plexus, down into the sacral chakra, deep into your root, and then bring that energy all the way down through your legs, through the ball of both of your feet and your heels, down into the very center of the earth. And then pull the energy up from the earth, through your feet, back through your chakra system. Now it knows how to move, and so the energy is moving freely from earth to sky, sky to earth to sky, sky to earth. Gently release the hands and come into mountain pose. We'll just shake it out. So let's take 3 deep ha breaths with a nice sigh. Big breath in. 2 more. Big breath in. And just relax the shoulders. Shake it out a little bit. Wiggle around a little bit. All right. How do you feel?
Oh, tingly.
Tingly, yeah. A lot of the energy's moving. How do y'all feel? Good, good. All right, warm. Yeah, it's a lot of energy moving. A lot of energy moving. So let's go ahead and sweep up to the sky. Big breath in. And then exhale, forward fold all the way out. Inhale, halfway lift. Make a little L shape with your back. Exhale, fold. Soften your knees. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, fold in half. All the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in half. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Let's take our hands to our heart. And this heart Beautiful. So this is a practice that you can repeat whenever you want to move energy. You feel a lot of energy moving, right? The Vishuddha channel is very opening. I mean, like my throat is sweating. Like, why would my throat be sweating, right? Yeah, it feels really good. So just to get the energy up and moving, anytime you can sing, laugh. Laughter is a huge Vinyasa outward movement. If you can imagine if you would like put a puff of smoke on laughter, it would just kind of roll like that, right? So that's that form of energy, that form of prana. It just rolls out. And that's what happens when you sing and when you express things. Yes, please hydrate, please hydrate. So let's go ahead and take a hydration break and come into a seated posture on your knees. And you're going to tuck your toes under, and it's just going to sit with your sitting bones right on your heels. Now, if that's too much, then you can also take yoga blocks and sit on them in Hero's Pose. But right now we're in Thunderbolt Pose, so this is just sitting with the sit bones right on the back of the heels. Take your reach back and grab your little pinky toe and spread it out so you kind of like fan out your foot. And just take a moment there, ground your hands on your thighs. Deep, full breath. Now go ahead and start bringing your focal point down. Sit up a little taller for me. Good. Don't let your body hunch. You got that energy moving. So wherever you start to form a shape, notice where that energy wants to exit. It's interesting. So just keep yourself in a strong line of energy. Let's go ahead and come into rock pose. So now we're just going to bring the toes back and sit onto your heels, your little bone of your heels. So you're going to bring the sitting bone. This is different from Hero's Pose than we normally practice. The sitting bones of both of your sides of your booty are going to reach right onto the center of both of your heels. And it should support you pretty well there. Yeah. So this is used a lot in Kundalini Yoga, and it's a great resting posture. Take a few breaths here. Bringing your gaze down, in and out through the nose. So next we have something really fun. So take a moment just to focus and breathe. All right, so now, are you guys ready to play a game with me? Yeah. We're live on YouTube. You don't have to agree. All right, so this is super fun. And if you don't want to be in the video, you don't have to. You can scoot back. So this is lion's breath. Lion's breath is an all-in commitment. Let's just put it out there. And so you've done this one, yes. So you have to really breathe out like everything.
Don't hold back.
Don't hold back. That's right, just do it. So, with that being said, it's very simple, but it's fun. It's playful. It's fun. So you're going to come back into Thunderbolt Pose. So you're going to get a little momentum by tucking your little toes under. And we're going to breathe in, come back, breathe out, and ha. Okay? So, breathe in, come onto your claws, claw the ground. Ready? Ha. Four more. And if you laugh or you cough, that's good. It's still clearing. Breathe in. Let your tongue hang out. Breathe in. Last one. Make it good. Isn't that fun?
The laughter helps.
It does. Hot. It's really moving some energy today.
Yeah, it makes me sweat.
Seriously, it does. It makes you sweat. All right, let's come into seated. So another really fun breath, and these are breaths that you can do also when you're teaching children. It's so fun. Kids love stuff like that. Now you gotta reel it in. They'll get crazy if you do lion's breath. So you have to really set a container around it, especially if it's elementary. Like I think it might be up on my YouTube a long time ago, but it's the biggest hug in the universe with the kindergarten class. There was like 700 kindergartners in there. It was like the whole school.
Wow.
Oh my God, it was crazy. They were just like, I was doing something like this, and then I was like, okay, now we're gonna give the universe a big hug, and they were just, it was the cutest thing ever. But like I said, when they get to that point, then you gotta rein it back, or the gym teacher's never gonna have you back. So, you know, but it's fun. So this one is bee breath, or brahmacharya. And we did this actually in class when we weren't taping. But so, does anyone say taping anymore? I think I totally dated myself.
No, people still say that.
People still say that? Okay. So when we weren't live, we did bee breath the other day. Bee breath is really fun. So we're basically just going to close the mouth and at our own pace, take your own breath in, and then you're going to make the bee sound. So at first, and I wanted to also refer you to this book because this is again from the chakra meditation book. It shows you a little meditation on it too. But I wanted to read you a couple things about the bumblebee breathing, the benefits. So if you're a singer, a teacher, or someone who has to speak in public, if you'd like to improve your speech or communication skills, deep joy and contentment, great inner peace, your mind becomes free from chatter, you have concentration, memory, and confidence, you banish feelings of self-doubt as well as the urge to gossip. It purifies your energetic center of communication. It helps you to listen intently and communicate on a more profound level. Discover your true inner voice and how to measure your words. How sweet and melodious your voice becomes. Alleviating many throat problems. It's beneficial for pregnant women and is excellent preparation for breathing during labor. So this is super fun. And so you can be in rock pose or you can be in seated. So if you're comfortable in seated, you can stay there, or you can come back to rock pose again, sitting with your toes pointed back, your heels right underneath your sit bones. And you're just going to rest your hands on your thighs. So as you breathe in, you're going to close the mouth, and we're going to begin to focus on the quality of the Vishuddha chakra. And as we inhale, we're going to make a snoring sound. This again takes your commitment because I don't want to be the only one doing that sound. Yeah, so, but with your mouth closed, it's tricky. So you know, like when those really annoying people are snoring and you're like, oh, stop, you know, it's loud. So you're...
It's almost like we're trying to hop a loogie.
It is. It actually clears your mucous membranes. This particular breath really clears your mucous membranes. So you're going to make that snoring as you breathe in, and practice that a couple times. That is to simulate like the giant bumblebee. So you're going to do the inhales, like let's do about 10. You ready? Breathe in. Halfway there. I know it's hard. I don't see all of you making that noise. Good. You can feel it.
Not recommended to do at work.
Don't do this at work. Last couple. So you can cough. Take a drink. Clear your throat. Okay. So now we're going to do the outward breath. So that one, in this book, she says that it's simulating a large, black, buzzing bumblebee. That heavy vibration in the back of your palate. Can you feel how it vibrated the back of your palate? Mm-hmm. So it really created a lot of activity there. That's why like your nose might run a little bit, or you might feel like you need to clear your throat or spit. Spitting is totally fine, just not on camera. Okay, so now we're going to breathe in. We're going to just retain our breath, and then as we exhale, we're going to make a humming sound. And you're going to just do the hum your whole entire exhale at your own pace. Breathe in. So everyone will be exhaling and inhaling at different points, and we're going to sound like a little colony of bees. It's so cool. Now with little kids, this is super fun, and you'll have them flap their little wings at the same time. It is the cutest ever. Like seriously, if you ever work with toddlers, this is the cutest breath to do. It's adorable. So we're not going to add the wings today, unless you want to. You're welcome to. And so we're going to breathe in and go. So do about 7 of your own breaths. As you exhale, see if you can try to make it louder. So 2 more big breaths on your own. As you finish, just hear that vibration. Feel the vibration in your brain, in your tongue, your teeth, your throat, your ears, your eyes, your chest. You can sit here as long as you like. If you're on video, you can pause the video. We're going to go ahead and come back to seated. So finding your easy seated posture when you're ready. So Ujjayi breathing is always really good for the throat chakra. And the couple extra postures, besides of course the lion's breathing, is plow pose and shoulder stand. So we're just going to practice those 2 poses disconnected from the rest of our flow. And we're going to come from plow to shoulder stand to plow and then back to happy baby. Okay? So if you have anything in the back of your hair, like I do, go ahead and take that out if you have hair.
Bobby pins.
Bobby pins are okay, but it's mostly like clumps of hair, like ponytails and buns, and like this is a leather clip, and so anything that's going to be on your head. So let's go ahead and come into easy seated, and then tuck your knees into your chest. We're going to rock back onto our back side and hug the knees in. And just gently rock from side to side. So you can center yourself on your mat and just gently rock. And then bring your feet up to the sky, spread out your toes, and you're going to point your ankles, but pull your toes back so you can try to create some space between your toes. On the inhale, take your hands underneath your buttocks. Grab your yoga block if you're new to this practice, and then set your yoga block underneath your hips. Just stay right there. If you have been practicing for a little while, go ahead and take your second block and bring that second block under you. If you've been practicing your practice, I'm going to move those out and come up into a half shoulder stand. So you're just going to support by bending the hips and begin to lift your legs as high as you can. That's another stage or another krama. Keep the legs straight, activate toes, and then begin to lift up. Scooping your shoulders underneath you. Pull your belly button into your spine. Now from here, you're going to take your leg and straighten it. And then take your other leg and straighten it. Try to stay as straight as you can. So you might be able to just do one leg at a time and get that leg really straight. Lift up a little higher, maybe walk up. Make sure there's still space underneath your back of your neck. About the space of half of a cut apple would be perfect. So you still want that curvature underneath the back of your throat center. Breathe here. Now as you practice your shoulder stand, you can begin to practice by bringing one hand up your leg. Make sure you have a very firm, strong practice and you have a very firm base. You bring your other leg up, or other hand up your leg. You might work on both. So work on your counterbalance here. Come into plow. We're going to bend the hips. Bring our toes overhead.
Okay.
Try not to kick your neighbor. This is halasana. Breathe here. Make sure you have plenty of space on the back of your heart center so that way you're not crowding up your shoulders. Use your core. Come back up into shoulder stand. Shalamba, Sarvangasana. Nice, strong and straight. Couple breaths here. Lift, lift, lift. Again, you might just do one leg at a time. Half into plow, half into shoulder stand, and switch. You can try helicopter legs, which are super fun. Coming back through shoulder stand. Walk yourself down by walking down the back of the body. And then we're going to take our 2 peace fingers, bring them between our big toe and our second toe, and then take your thumb, lock it on top of your fingernails. Bring the hips open into happy baby and just gently rock. Close the eyes. Breathe. Come into knees to chest. Apanasana. Feel that downward flow of energy. We're going to roll over onto our side. And then walk your way into seated. We're going to come into easy seated pose. And to close our practice, we're going to move into tortoise. So tortoise is a really fun posture. And I'm going to read to you a little bit about your tortoise chakra as you sit in that pose. So you're going to bring your feet into a butterfly. Bring your feet a little farther away from you than you normally would for butterfly. And then we're going to take and slide our hands underneath the shins. Tuck your elbow underneath your shin as far as you can. You might not be able to bend that far. You might be able to bend all the way down. And then imagine your hand is a little flipper. And so you're going to kind of push the water out to the side like a little turtle, just swimming. Just rocking. And then your head can be popping up, looking out of the water. And you can let your head drop down and tucking it, diving under. The sea turtles are in some of the most turbulent current in all the ocean in Hawaii. I don't even know how they swim in that current, but it's crazy. So you just imagine having this beautiful protection, this beautiful shell on your back. Then begin to slow the rocking down and just begin to kind of hibernate down into your turtle pose. Let yourself melt. And if your head is really far from being able to fold forward, you can take and set your block or 2 on your ankles. Or you can take a bolster. Or you can take a meditation cushion. Something like this one. And again, set that on your feet. And then fold. So let yourself completely relax in your turtle pose. Find support for your body. I'm going to just read to you a little bit about your tortoise chakra. And find support. So our tortoise chakra is below the throat and above the heart. It's a minor chakra with radiant energy patterns that resemble a tortoise, or a korma in Sanskrit. Meditation on this energy center brings a calmness that is somewhat like the peace of hibernation. The tortoise is a universal symbol of stability and steady resolve. Once he's decided to pull in his head and legs, nothing and no one can change his mind. A friend of mine has a tortoise, and he's almost like 15 or 20 now. And she said when he retracts his legs, it comes back so fast that it could take your finger off. So you're very protected in this space. The ability of the tortoise to draw in his extremities and remain peaceful within himself is symbolic of the yoga practice of the pratyahara. Usually translated as withdrawals of the senses, this practice is better described as withdrawing mental energy from the senses. The senses are like electrical appliances. They only function when plugged into an energy source. You need to unplug deliberately in pratyahara, withdrawing our senses from their energy source. When you sit and begin to meditate, try to close down your senses. Do not allow energy to travel from your mind to your eyes, nose, ears, skin, or mouth, nor to your hands or feet. This means that for that moment, you stop seeing, smelling, hearing, touching, tasting, speaking, moving, or working. When the mental energy no longer escapes, you are practicing pratyahara and taking on the qualities of the steady, peaceful tortoise. You can continue to stay in tortoise pose, or you can move into shavasana for the final part of our meditation and our relaxation. However you feel most comfortable, close your eyes, withdraw the senses. Take your awareness inside your body. Become conscious of the location of your Tortoise Chakra in the region of your upper sternum, the breastbone, just above this point where it touches the windpipe or the trachea. The branches formed out to the bronchial tubes, and that's right at that space. As you direct your awareness to the site of your Tortoise Chakra, consciously allow your breathing to slow down. For an animal to live well over 100 years, it has to slow down. And if we want to live a long and prosperous and fulfilled life, we have to slow down. The yogis say we only have so many breaths. And if we can control our breath and slow down our breath, therefore we extend our life. Directing our awareness, continue allowing our breathing to slow down. And then mentally watch your breath as it passes through your tortoise energy center. Do nothing but maintain this focus. It unplugs your senses. It is more effective than instructing them to stop being active. As each breath passes through the trachea, through the back of the sternum, it slows down. Another circulation. Until your breathing is deep and long and intentional and full, and all of the senses are now unplugged. Every time that your mind starts to drift, simply direct your focus back to your breath on your Tortoise Chakra. You can stay here for up to 20 minutes. Continuing to focus, with practice you'll begin to experience the calm inner peace and profound emotional stability that comes from about when your senses are stilled and your Tortoise Chakra is open and in balance. If you'd like to stay here, you can stay here as long as you'd like. slowly bring your awareness back from your throat chakra, from your heart chakra, from your tortoise chakra. And begin to feel the weight of your body on the earth. Begin to hear sounds around you. Begin to feel your hands and wiggle the fingers. Take a moment to roll onto one side or the other, or come up from your tortoise chakra, or tortoise pose, into seated. If you are in final relaxation, you can come onto one side or the other. And then begin to make your way into seated when you're ready. Let's bring our hands to our heart. One of the most wonderful meditations for the throat chakra is the Own Mantra Chant. And we'll do 3. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Back to center. So as you begin to practice Oms on your own, my Sanskrit teacher, Nikolai Backbend, taught me to close your throat before you close off the final sound. So you kind of make a little soft and it closes the energy much less abruptly than just shutting your mouth. So you want to try one just that way? So you'll breathe in, ah, oh, and before you do the closed mouth, and we go, So it's very subtle. Deep breath in. Did you notice the difference? Yeah. So it's like when the Om moves from your whole energy system, and then you're able to feel it moving, and then you close it off, and then it just kind of vibrates in your head. So thank you so much for your practice tonight. I so appreciate you being here. Namaste. Again, you can download all the handouts off of our blog. Thank you so much for joining us at yogaforlove.com.